Have you ever wondered why ice melts when you leave it outside, or why water turns into ice in the freezer? The answer is all about heat. There are two important terms you need to know: endothermic and exothermic. Let's start with endothermic. The prefix endo means into. In an endothermic process, heat goes into the substance. In other words, the substance absorbs heat. For example, when ice melts into liquid water, the ice absorbs heat from its surroundings. That's why melting is an endothermic process. Another example is boiling or evaporation. When liquid water turns into water vapor, it also absorbs heat from its surroundings. That's why boiling and evaporation are endothermic processes. Here are two real-life examples. First, when fresh food is packed with ice packs for delivery, the ice packs slowly melt. As the ice packs melt, they absorb heat from the surroundings. As a result, the food stays cold and fresh for a longer time. Second, think about what happens when you sweat on a hot day. As the sweat evaporates from your skin, it absorbs heat from your body. That's why sweating helps cool you down. Now let's look at exothermic. The prefix exo, the prefix exo means out of. In an exothermic process, heat goes out of the substance. In other words, the substance releases heat. When liquid water freezes and becomes ice, it releases heat to the surroundings. That's why freezing is an exothermic process. After taking a hot shower, you may notice tiny water droplets forming on the bathroom mirror. This happens because water vapor in the warm air cools down and changes into liquid water. During this process, the water vapor releases heat. That's why condensation is an exothermic process. Once you remember whether heat goes into or out of the substance, you'll never mix up endothermic and exothermic again.